I've had a major setback in my whole plan. The fact that this won't get done anytime soon means there is no way I can move in this year. Hi guys, so it's time for a long overdue Poland house build update. So I get a lot of questions about this, and I still find it interesting that so many people are actually interested in this. I really didn't think that there would be, but you are, so here goes. What I'm going to do is initially just take you through a bit of a verbal update on things that are happening, things that are going on. There is a lot happening at the moment, and there's, good news, bad news, all of that stuff. So I will take you through that first, and then for those of you who are interested, I will take you through the financials, sort of the money that I've spent so far and the things that I know are still upcoming and how that's all looking. So let's start with all the stuff that's going on and all the news. So the good news, I guess, that I think I've mentioned before, but in case you missed it, obviously in January they started digging, and they did like the cement foundation layer and stuff like that, but then everything got held up because of the weather. But now everything's sort of kicking off again. So they've delivered the blocks or bricks or whatever you want to call them for the initial foundation layer, and all the sand and things like that go with it. So all of that has been delivered, and they are starting the build literally within days now. They may have already started by the time you watch this video. So obviously that's amazing news, because it essentially means that now they're kicking off for good, and it means they'll be done in like 2 months, done in the sense of what they're actually responsible for. So this is essentially the company that deals with doing, I think I mentioned before, like the foundations, the roof, the foundations, the walls and the roof. And obviously they help with getting the windows and doors and stuff, but essentially like the closed element. And then after that come all the fun things like electricity and plumbing and installation and all that fun stuff. So this is where the bad news comes in. I've had a major setback in my whole plan, and everyone told me there would be setbacks. I refused to believe them, because I was like, power of manifestation, I'm gonna do this, it's fine, I will do it. Everyone always says like, if you have money, everything is fine. But apparently not. There are certain things that money can't help. And one of those things for me is the plumbing and the water. So essentially, my land doesn't have electricity or water connected to it. Now, electricity isn't as much of a problem, because with electricity, I don't really know if this is the same way that it works in England, but in Poland you have sort of 2 tariffs. One is like the building site tariff, which is so much higher. Like, I can't even explain to you the huge differences in these tariffs. And one is just a standard tariff. So if you apply for the normal one, you wait about 14 months. And my building site manager, whatever he's called, like the guy that looks after the whole project and has to sign off on everything, when he put in the application for the planning permission and the green light for building the house, he did not put in the request for electricity, which means 6 months have gone by and the clock has not been ticking. And you wait 14 months, which means we're putting it in now, and it's going to be about 14 months. They could do it before, of course they could, but the chances of that are low. However, you can always put in for the building site one, and they will do that fairly quickly, because it is literally like more than times 10 the amount of money that they will get for it. The only problem with that is you then pay those standing charges whether or not you're using electricity. And this is the catch, because I wanted to do it, just do it for the build and then let it sit. But actually it's the standing charges. You pay like 400 zloty a month or something for essentially just the standing charge. And you pay that until the council signs off that your house is done, finished, and you can move in. Can't do that without water. And there is no way to fast track water. So here's the big problem with this. The fact that this won't get done anytime soon means there is no way I can move in this year, because until they've connected water to my property, and the water, it's not just about connecting my property to the mains, it's about pulling the mains through this whole street. Until they've connected water to my property, they can't do like the plumbing and everything in the property. Until they've done the plumbing, you can't sort of do the flooring, right? Because the plumbing goes under the flooring. And whilst they can get it ready, they can't check it without the water supply. And without checking it, you can't just do the flooring over it, because then what if something's wrong? So basically I'm screwed, is the outcome of that long-winded explanation. I did go to speak to them, and they essentially said there is no way to fast track it. They just have such a backlog that the earliest they will do it, and the plan to do it is autumn this year. Now, that sounds great to me. If they did it in autumn, all would be good, right? But what are the chances of that? Because if things get pushed to the right, which chances are they will, there's no way they will move it from autumn to winter, because they can't do that kind of work in the winter in Poland, where it gets to like minus 20 degrees. So it's either going to be autumn this year or spring, summer next year. So keep your fingers crossed that it's autumn. So yeah, I'm very disheartened by it all. It's a bit depressing. I was so keen on moving in this year before Christmas, and obviously that's not going to happen now, because even if they do the water in autumn, it will then take time for everything else to be finished before I can move in. Obviously I don't need like a fully finished house to move in, I just need like the pure basics, because the house isn't that far from my parents. So, you know, things like food, I don't need to do a kitchen, I can go to my parents' house for food. I don't need all the other rooms done. I don't need anything really, other than a bed and like a sink and a toilet, and everything else I can sort in my parents' house. But still, it will take time to do the flooring, the insulation, blah, blah, blah. So now for those of you who are interested, let's talk through the financials so far. So here's my little spreadsheet. I mean, I have a few, but this is the English version one. Where I have everything that I've paid so far, and then the known costs. So I know there's going to be other costs, but these are sort of the ones that are going to be almost not imminent, but coming soon, and I know exactly what they're going to be. So if we look at the paid amounts first, you can see that in total so far, I've spent 143,000 zloty, which is about £26,000. And this is the list of what there is. So the pole removal so far, I paid 8,000 zloty deposit. I bought the project for the house build, which was 3,000. The adaptation by the architect, again, was 3,000 zloty. The surveyor was 1,000. The external bricks, so all of the bricks essentially that make up the external walls of the house, so all the load-bearing walls, cost me 18,900. The roof sort of internal elements, so this isn't the tiles that go on the roof, this is the wooden elements that make up the roof. I paid a 6,000 deposit for that, and there's about 15,000 zloty to go that I'll have to pay, which you can see here in the upcoming costs when they deliver it. The windows and roof materials, so this is all my windows, and then the materials on top of the roof, so the tiles and stuff. I paid 25,000 zloty deposit, and I've got 40,700 to go, which is really depressing. The styrodur, I don't really know how to pronounce this, but apparently it's called the same thing in English and Polish. I checked. It's essentially an insulation thing. I paid 4,500 for that. I paid 4,100 for steel, and then 6,200 for the internal bricks. So essentially the internal walls are made from different materials to the external walls. Then I paid another 1,000 to the surveyor. I paid 900 zloty for temporary fencing. So obviously I'm gonna have like a proper fence as soon as I can, because I want my dog to have like my big land to run around. But for now, it's just like a crappy temporary building site fencing. So you can see like the temporary fencing here, and then here they've brought the essentially bricks to work with. So, and that's the garage in the background. So I paid 900 for that. I will get some of that back, because essentially the wooden poles you can sell on after. I paid $3,800 for concrete. My first labour invoice, so for the work they've done so far, I paid $5,000, which was made up of a couple different elements. I paid 300 zloty for a massive water container. I want to say it's like 1,000 litres, but because I have no water on the land, they need water to like mix cement and whatever they need it for, glue, cement, whatever else. I had to buy a massive water container. I'll see if I can insert like a photo or something here. So this is the water container. Yeah, it's like standing up there so that they can easily get the water out. Hello, this is my new baby, Mojito. And then this is the garage. So essentially just like a normal garage really. Then I had to pay 2,500 zloty for a temporary garage. So again, this isn't going to be one that I keep forever, but I'll probably keep it for a while just until I have enough money to buy a proper one, because a proper garage is actually a hell of a lot of money. So it was just 2,500 for, like, again, I'll try and insert a picture, but tiny, crappy little garage that they can hide like certain building materials and stuff in. And then I've paid 20,000 zloty for plumbing materials because everything's going up, and 30,000 zloty for a heat pump. Now, the heat pumps are going up as well, and I wanted to just get it over and done with. So they're going to order it, and then it's going to sit in like their place essentially, and then they will come and install it when the time comes. So over here on this side, you can see here heat pump installation and plumbing installation. Those two elements I've signed the contract for, so this is how much they're going to cost me, but I don't have to pay them until they've actually carried out the installations. So that's pretty good. Fencing, this is sort of a guess, rough estimate. It's going to depend on what kind of fencing I get and stuff like that. But a guesstimate, 21,000. Solar panels, again, guesstimate. I'm going to need to have someone come out, evaluate my energy use and all of that lovely stuff. But again, this is just based on sort of average stuff that I've found on the internet. And then here, insulation, remaining insulation, about 5,500. The balance remaining for the pole removal, the roof and the windows, so these are the three amounts, 8,000, 15,000, 40,000. The remainder of the building costs that I've already pre-agreed, signed the contract for, 43,000 zloty. And then the wood, the sand and a few extras for the builds that aren't built in at the moment. These are the figures I'm expecting. So in terms of pounds, the upcoming costs, I guess, are about 36,000. So currently in my bank accounts, I have 20,000 pounds, which is in my non-company account. Because if you follow me, you know, obviously a lot of the money I make through YouTube sits in my company account, which I can't necessarily access. So got 20,000 sitting here, but I'm going to spend 36. Having said that, you know, the solar panels, I don't really need to do straight away. So if we remove those, we're looking at only about 8,000 difference. And actually the plumbing and the heat pump installation won't happen until I have water, which again will be probably at the end of this year / early next year. So again, if I remove those two, we're then only looking at a 6,000 pound discrepancy. So not too bad. I think by the time I have to actually pay for these things, obviously I'd have got more money into my account and stuff like that. So I think it'll be okay. I'm just really worried about the water situation. But yeah, I'll keep you updated as always. I think I've been talking for a really long time, so I'm going to stop now. If you have any questions about the cost so far or anything else with regards to this, just pop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and for being like invested in this whole journey. It does keep me motivated and it keeps me going, especially when, you know, disheartening things like this happen. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.